Okay, taking a look at the next set of problems, we're given a graph and we're told to find the measure of each angle. So the deal here is this 80 degrees only describes this piece right here. Okay, but as we heard in the notes, all our angles start at the positive x-axis and then they're going to open all the way around, and that's what we want to take advantage of. So if I think about starting here and traveling, I know that that piece right there in purple is 90 degrees. Okay? If I were to keep going, I know that the next piece in red is another 90 degrees. If I keep going, I know that the next piece in purple is another 90 degrees. And then finally, to actually open up to my final piece is where I need my 80 degrees. So altogether for this angle right here, I have 90, 90, 90, and 80. And if you add all of those up, you should get 350 degrees. And that will be our answer for number 11. Okay. 13 is very similar, but it's a little different. The piece they label 20 degrees is not the piece that's part of my angle. So what we need to think about is I know that this space right here is 90 degrees. Every corner represents 90, which means that if this angle right here is 20, then the one next to it has to be 90 minus 20, which equals 70 degrees. Okay? Now, same as before, I can think about where I start. If I open up to one next axis, I know that's 90 degrees. As I continue over to here, I know that's another 90 degrees. And then finally, I have the 70 that we calculated before. So now I've got 90 plus 90 plus 70 is going to give me 250 degrees. But we're not done yet, because think about where we are. You start here for x axis, and I'm opening down. If I'm opening down, that means I have a negative angle. So don't forget that negative sign on your value. Okay, let's take a look at 15. Oh boy, there's a lot going on in this one. First up, you'll notice that they give us the value of 5 pi over 12. That pi is a sign that we're using radians. Okay, so there's a couple pieces to this one. First, let's figure out what this little piece right here is. Okay? Actually, I'm going to wait off on that. I'm going to come back to that little piece because I want to approach it this way. I got some full circles and I got a lot of spiraling going on. So I'm going to start here. This opening spiral, that part in purple goes all the way to the x-axis again, which means it's one full circle. Now, one full circle in radians is 2 pi. So that first full circle is the same as 2 pi in radians, and that makes sense, right? Because we know that half a circle, 180 degrees, is 1 pi. So that first circle gives me 2 pi. Now, after that first circle, I continue about my merry way, and I go another complete full circle in red. That's going to give me another 2 pi. So before I've measured my angle at all, I already have a total of 4 pi's left over. Now the hard part is from that, we need to measure the last little piece over here. Okay, that I labeled in purple. Now here's what I'm going to think about. I know the rest is 5 pi over 12. Okay, I also know that half a circle is pi, which means this piece right here in purple must be 1 pi, take away the part I don't want, which is 5 pi over 12. Okay? Here's what I want you to think about for radians. Pi is a variable like x. So I'm going to take this statement right here and I can rewrite it pi as being 12 pi over 12 minus 5 pi over 12. Okay, just imagine the pi's are x's for a moment. They both have a common denominator, so I can subtract no problem. I've got 12 parts on this one, take away 5 parts on this one, which means altogether I'm going to have 7 parts over 12, and just like a variable, the pi's along for the ride. So what does that mean? I've got my 2 pi for my first circle, 2 pi for my second circle, and then 7 pi over 12 left over. So that means my final answer is going to be, adding these two together, 4 pi plus 7 pi over 12. Last but not least, we probably want to combine those, so what do we need? A common denominator. So I'm going to rewrite 4 pi as 48 pi over 12 plus 7 pi over 12. Now that I have a common denominator, I can combine the top, and I have 55 pi over 24. Sorry, over 12. A little tired.